For most of human history, going to the doctor was an excellent way to die. Not from the illness, from the cure. This is a tour of the most insane medical treatments people genuinely believed in. Strap in. And whatever you do, do not let any of these people treat you. We are starting with a classic, drilling a hole directly into your skull. Thousands of years ago, a human being got a really bad headache, and the cutting-edge solution was to drill a hole to let the pain out. It is called trepanation, and it is the oldest surgery we have ever found. The theory was that evil spirits or bad pressure could escape through the opening. No anesthesia, no cleaning, no idea germs existed. Just a rock and pure confidence. Now here is the genuinely insane part. Lots of patients survived it. We know they lived because the bone around the hole slowly grew back. Some ancient skulls have several holes, each healed at a different time, which means these people came back for round 2 and round 3. Trepanation shows up on basically every inhabited continent on Earth. Headaches, seizures, head wounds, and naturally, demonic possession. The truly wild thing is that we still open the skull today to relieve pressure. The only upgrade in 5,000 years is that now we wash our hands first. For about 2,000 years, the cure for nearly every illness was identical: drain the patient's blood. Doctors were convinced the body ran on 4 fluids they called humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile, all supposedly kept in balance. Got sick? Then obviously one of your humors was out of whack. The fix was to drain some out, and they usually picked the blood. They used knives, little spring-loaded blades, and everyone's favorite, leeches. A single session could remove an alarming amount of your blood, and if you fainted, that was taken as proof the treatment was working. In 1799, a very famous man woke up with a nasty sore throat: George Washington, the first president of the United States. Over a single day, his doctors drained out an enormous amount of his blood. By some estimates, close to half of it. He died that same night. Leeches got so popular that France imported tens of millions of them a year. And here is the plot twist. Leeches are used in real hospitals today. Their saliva stops blood from clotting, which helps reattached fingers and ears heal. Next, a treatment that was shiny, magical, and quietly poisoning everybody: mercury. The strange liquid metal that rolls around like little beads. For centuries, doctors prescribed it for almost every problem imaginable: constipation, sadness, toothache, and above all else, syphilis. There was even a cheerful little saying about that last one: a night with Venus, a lifetime with Mercury. Patients were dosed with mercury until they drooled completely uncontrollably. Naturally, the heavy drooling was read as the cure doing its job. In reality, that was the body screaming through acute mercury poisoning. Mercury rots your teeth, wrecks your kidneys, and slowly attacks the brain. Abraham Lincoln took little mercury pills to treat his low moods. He reportedly quit them after realizing they made him fly into rages. It turned out the medicine itself was the thing making him sick. Here is one that might make you put down your snack. For hundreds of years, Europeans treated illness by eating other humans. It was a respectable medicine called mummia, made from ground-up mummies. Powdered Egyptian mummy was sold by pharmacies as an all-purpose cure. Demand got so high that fakes were cooked up from fresh corpses. Powdered human skull was also prescribed for headaches and seizures. The best recipes supposedly called for the skull of a young man who died violently. There was even a human candy, soaked in honey and left to steep for a century. Kings, popes, and the wealthy all happily swallowed their corpse medicine. It stayed in European medical books for an uncomfortably long time. Okay, now the one you have all been waiting for, whether you admit it or not. In the 1700s, doctors had a bold plan for reviving people who seemed dead. They would blow warm tobacco smoke directly up the patient's backside. Yes, that is the real treatment. We did not make this up. It was the officially recommended rescue method for drowning victims. The belief was that the warmth and smoke would kickstart the lungs. Emergency smoke kits were mounted along the River Thames in London. Think of the life rings we keep by the water today. But, you know, smokier. This is the genuine origin of the phrase about blowing smoke up someone's backside. We will let you finish that particular sentence in your own time. Eventually, doctors worked out that nicotine is actually toxic to the heart, and the smoke up the rear era mercifully drifted away. By the late 1800s, pharmacies stocked 2 exciting new wonder drugs: heroin and cocaine. Sold cheerfully, over the counter, to absolutely anyone. A famous company marketed heroin as a gentle little cough medicine. It was even recommended to soothe coughing children. Heroin was literally advertised as the safe, non-addictive option. That particular claim did not exactly hold up over time. Cocaine, meanwhile, showed up in toothache drops marketed for kids. It promised an instant cure and, well, a remarkably good mood. Cocaine also went into wines, energy, tonics, and a certain famous soft drink. For a while, you could buy your whole medicine cabinet at the pharmacy and get high. It took decades to admit these miracle cures were quietly creating addicts. Only then did the wonder drugs slip quietly off the shelves. Some of these are funny. This next one is just dark. In the 1940s, doctors desperately wanted a cure for serious mental illness. Their answer was the lobotomy, cutting the connections at the front of the brain. One American doctor figured out how to do it terrifyingly fast. He went in through the corner of the eye socket. Using a thin metal tool that looked an awful lot like an ice pick, he would tap it through the thin bone and give it a little wiggle. The entire operation often took under 10 minutes. He performed thousands of them, on some days more than a dozen. He even did some out of his own van, which he nicknamed the lobotomobile. Many patients were left permanently blank, dulled, and childlike. One of them was the sister of a future American president. The original operation had even won its inventor a Nobel Prize. The ice pick version, as you can probably guess, did not age well. By the early 1900s, science had a dazzling new miracle: radioactivity. It glowed in the dark and felt magical, so obviously, they put it in everything. Radium toothpaste, promising a brighter, shinier smile. Radium face cream for a youthful glow. And we do mean that literally. And radium water, bottled and sold as a healthy energy tonic. One wealthy man decided to drink the stuff by the case, a rich socialite and athlete named Eben Byers. He drank well over 1,000 bottles, certain it was making him stronger. Instead, the radiation quietly ate his bones from the inside out. Pieces of his jaw had to be removed. His death was genuinely horrifying. A newspaper later summed it up with brutal honesty. The radium water worked fine until his jaw came off. Then there were the young women hired to paint glowing watch dials. They were told to lick their brushes into a fine point all day long. The radium girls were poisoned, and their brave fight reshaped worker safety forever. So what do every single one of these disasters have in common? Each one was the trusted, cutting-edge science of its time, recommended by intelligent, well-meaning experts who were absolutely certain, which leaves us with a genuinely uncomfortable little question. What are we totally confident about right now that future doodles will laugh at? Because for most of history, visiting the doctor really was a great way to die. Not from the illness, from the cure. If that rearranged your brain a little, you are going to like it here. Subscribe and tell us down below which treatment you would least want. We will be back with more terrible ideas that very smart people believed.